take shelter in the facts yet again. And welcoming Mr. Hussain Abdul-Hussain, Research Fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracy, joining us live from Washington, D.C. Mr. Abdul-Hussain, thank you very much for joining us. I will dare to say you've a man, you've seen things. How surprised are you by this operation?
The surprise is that Israel chose to take these guys out in Qatar, Doha. I think the Qataris themselves would have been surprised to see this come all the way home to them. This is not something that we're used to over the past 20, 30 years. Hamas or any other terrorist organization, including the Taliban, used to have a safe refuge in Doha, whether to stay or to raise their families or to organize or to fundraise or to plan attacks on other countries. I think the fact that Israel chose to go after them in Qatar, that's a big game changer in the region.
So in this respect, a hint could have been found in the form of an Adam Bowler post last week that pressure on Qatar was needed, which was a very rare signal by an administration official in the White House of the displeasure with the Qatari role here.
We've been talking about the negative role of Qatar, whether in the Israel versus Palestinians or in the West at large.
Right.
The last time any country hosted someone who planned an attack, we occupied that country. When bin Laden planned and executed 9/11, we occupied all of Afghanistan, even though the Afghani government at the time only hosted bin Laden. So if we measure this, if we compare this to what's happening now, you have all this bunch of Hamas leadership who, in the safety of Doha, have been planning all sorts of attacks. Not only attacks, also, we know of all the incitement against Israel, the anti-Semitism, the incitement against the West, all the Western world. I think we haven't seen such an ally. If you live in the West and you think of other countries as friends and allies, Qatar really stands out as an ally that's always instigating against us. And I think, there must have come a time when, a time of reckoning for the Qataris. I think that's what, what the U.S. official meant from last week. I bet if you dig up more statements, you'll find tons of statements of people in Washington calling on the administrations, the successive administrations, to hold Qatar accountable to what it does.
Again, with the reservation of not walking the slippery slope of conspiracy, and yet the possibility that Qatar was in the mix to an extent. How striking would that be to you, knowing and following the Qatari operations?
Look, I wouldn't want to say that the Qataris themselves instructed Hamas to do anything. But what we know is that they give a safe place
the other way around,
for the Hamas leadership.
Qataris were in the mix or in the loop, knowing about this Israeli operation there.
I see. Well, it's hard to believe. We know that the Qataris try to play both sides all the time.
Right.
When they talk to us here in Washington, they say, we love the United States, we like Israel, we have nothing against Israel. And then they go in public on Al Jazeera or anywhere else, and they're saying the opposite thing. So God knows what the Qataris are doing. They instigate everyone against talking to Israel, and at the same time, they receive Israeli delegations and they talk to them on behalf of Hamas. So it could be anything. Maybe some Qataris knew, maybe no Qatari knew, but I mean, that's really the territory of speculation.
Yeah, playing the double game, there's no end to it, or there's no end to speculation at least. So with the lack of ability to have comprehensive answers, if you will, at this point in time, what are the questions we should be asking ourselves, Mr. Abdul-Hussain?
The main question in my mind would be, did Hamas get the Israeli memo? Even if these leaders survive the Israeli attack, I think by now they know that they're on Israel's targeting list. If you go all the way back to the 1970s, we know that if Israel has you on its list for killing Israelis, the Israelis will come after you. So now that these guys know that they're on Israel's list, if they survive, would they still persist with the same policy of defiance of trying to keep Hamas armed and ruling Gaza? or will it change their calculus and change their mind, seeing that they themselves are not really safe anymore like they used to think that they were?
Mr. Hussain Abdul-Hussain, Research Fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, thank you for not just providing answers, but also helping us ask the right questions. Thank you very much, sir, for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So